Like
that is the greatest fucking scene in all of Justice League, and it's like the fucking greatest thing to see as a 13-year-old kid.
It's why you watch that cartoon.
It's why I wear this fucking crest, other than the memory of my mom.
You're all gonna be mad at me.
God damn it, Chad.
I've been putting in about at least 6 hours of World of Warcraft a day for the last 4 days.
Really?
Yeah.
How you liking it?
I'm having so much fun.
Did a new expansion just come out, or you just keep diving into it?
Shadowlands came out in September, October, maybe even November.
I know you said for like a couple of months ago, you said, you were really thinking about getting back into it. Did you just start deep diving into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hopped back in.
Okay.
You had to get an SSD.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to load World of Warcraft from a hard drive?
Okay.
Just always lagging in raids, and it's like, this is bullshit. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
my DPS is like by far the lowest, and it's like, it's literally, my game is not running fast enough. It's not DPS, it's DP10S. Damage per 10 seconds.
Weird.
But now it's able to run smoothly.
No, it's so good.
That's good, because...
But now I need a new mouse instead of clicking.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, God, yeah, that would drive me insane. I can't do that.
Dude,
I feel
like
bad.
30
I feel bad.
Spells up.
Yeah.
In World of Warcraft. Have you ever seen their GUI?
Yeah, I've played it before.
You should see my screen. It's great.
Oh, it's gross.
Set up for optimization.
Jesus Christ. It looks like an anxiety attack. If an anxiety attack was a video game, it'd be the World of Warcraft fucking GUI.
No. It would
why
be the impossible game.
That went flat.
Yeah, real flat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my God. It looks like fucking Coca-Cola that got left out.
It'll be fine.
Will it?
Yeah, I'll survive. I'll drink it. It still tastes like
You
Guinness.
should drink it.
It's sure it'll survive.
It's just not as thick.
toxic.
It's just not as thick. I'll have another one in like 20 minutes.
Perfect.
Because I'll be able to put it down faster. But yeah, guys, this is actually a pretty interesting podcast because we've never really done a podcast.
Let's save that for the end.
Yeah. We've never done a podcast.
We're gonna scrap the whole thing.
Right. We've never done one focused specifically on like a piece of content. We've done one specifically on Wall Street Bets.
Yeah.
But we never done one specifically on a piece of media.
That was a gimmick.
It was a good one though. A lot of people liked it.
So hopping on that real quick before we dive into Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
So they just came out. I think it's like a docu-series, or it's the same producers that keep making these documentaries.
Yeah.
But they made one called Game Stopped, and it's all about Robin Hood, the day that it all happened, them hitting the stop, Portnoy calling him like a criminal, all the other stuff. But the awesome thing is, it kind of got me... they're talking about the people that made a lot of money, or that's who they talk to, and then they talk to the Robin Hood guy. And one, everyone should go follow Wall Street Bets. If you don't, start
on Reddit.
And then Roaring Kitty. This guy is like the god of Wall Street Bets, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, everyone must be doing this. But if everyone was doing it, then everyone would already be filthy rich. Like, it's so easy to watch these guys follow their trends and drop in, not like a lot, but $100 at a time.
Yeah. With Wall Street Bets, I like to... Any post I see with over 1,000 upvotes, I immediately write off because it's too late.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good way to read it. That's a good way to read it.
You can sort subreddits by different ways, and one of them that I like...
newest,
I like
most
to
popular.
do newest for that. And
I do newest
and then
as
I'll
well.
search through, and if somebody's DD or due diligence makes sense, then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll hop on that.
Right.
Like, I grabbed a special purpose acquisition company. I know, thrilling shit. but basically, these things just facilitate companies getting on the public trading, without having to go through normal guidelines.
Yeah.
They're like a kind of a new thing. But that's one of those things I found by browsing new, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'll slap some money into this.
Nice.
I mean, it's paying off.
I mean, some of the stuff that I've messed around with Coinbase are companies that basically provide services for actually the data transfer, the encryption, and all that. And they cost very little to get into, but they grow over time because they are actually providing a growing service that's in higher demand.
Well, it's
so it
cool.
allows people to have it.
One of these altcoins that I'm into, it's called Ecomi, and what ECOMI.
Yeah.
And essentially what Ecomi is they are the transferability of NFTs, which are non-fungible.
It's a service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because NFT is essentially going back to before currency, where you are bartering trading. You put a value on something and you trade that. Essentially, an NFT is a digital, like Mega Man, a digital Kirby, a digital anything. It's literally it's little art or something or a picture, and it has a value now.
Yeah.
So it's like literally going back. Like you can make a digital rock. I can literally make a digital pile of gold, and it has value.
That might make the Emoji Movie now the highest grossing movie of all time. It's not just that.
Well, celebrities are now actually doing like certain songs that they're selling as NFTs, or they're selling like content that they've produced or voice acted as NFTs. So people can buy that and own that.
Right. So it's like you would get the video, but the video has value in itself as well. Like,
or you can have like a song that you own.
I'm investing in commodities.
Pretty much like you can buy like digital lampshade and that's worth $30. Like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait. That's gonna be interesting to watch.
Just going back.
Soon people are gonna have gifts in the inside of their trench. What do you want? You want the one of the guys?
It's like in Recess.
I got a winky face, $30.
Yeah, winky face.
Listen, they don't. This is old. Michael Jackson eating popcorn. They haven't seen this one since the late 2020s.
You're gonna get busted for prostitution for selling the eggplant emojis.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so you're a pervert, huh?
Oh, all right, guys. So we do need to do a little bit of house cleaning. So because this is a movie review, and there's probably going to be a lot of people who have not seen our content before from this. We are the Mooks Podcasts. Myself, Dave, Evan, and JJ.
Howdy.
Hey, Chad is should be here, but he has been under the weather for quite a while. He's now just starting to feel better. So, he's
got the noomies.
Yes, he's had several COVID tests, all negative, so he should be back up to speed pretty soon.
Stop faking, literally at any time.
10 days. I went to the hospital. I had a fever of over 100.
I woke up and sneezed twice.
I was sweating through my sheets, and then I was freezing cold.
I knew I was really sick when I couldn't play my video games.
1 second I was chilly, and then the next I was a little warm. It's unbearable.
He's gonna listen like, well, fuck you guys. But I was in a pretty bad car accident also, so I'm still trying to recover from that. And I got my COVID shot, so I'm still
R.I.P. Dave. R.I.P. Dave.
It's about Chad.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Stop trying to get petty points from the audience.
But
please like our video. I was in a car accident. Could have died. No big deal.
Our other friend's sick.
The only thing that got me through my injuries was the viewers.
Also, if anyone's seen AJ, he's been missing for about a month.
But no, this is.
We should get a missing poster for AJ.
Oh my God. We should get cardboard stand.
I wanted. I wanted to get a
fat head.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a blow up doll, like those cheap $20 blow up dolls, and put like a thing for Chad. And the funny part
write
is,
Chad on its forehead.
Why don't you
Black
just use
Parker.
the expensive one you got in your closet? You can wipe, dude. A little bit of Lysol goes a long way. I promise.
Well, she's.
I thought you meant
dishwasher
Amanda
safe.
at first.
No,
for a brief second.
Both are dishwasher safe, so it's okay.
You just roll up your sex doll, just put it in the top rack. I can squeeze a couple of plates in there.
and then the instructions say air dry, so you just flat lay it out.
Put it over your chair.
I keep the little linen line out in the backyard so that neighbors can see it. Just
Exactly.
flopping in the wind.
The mouth.
So yeah, that's the kind of content that we normally bring in our shows. But today we're going to be actually reviewing Zack Snyder's film of Justice League that people have been waiting for years. So I think a cool way for us to sort of break this down was basically just to say...
I want everybody to know our review will not reflect the runtime of the actual movie itself.
That is...
So don't worry about that.
That is the thing.
We're not going to dissect every bit of slow motion in it.
Right, which is apparently 10% of the whole film.
24 minutes.
24 minutes.
24 minutes. What did I say?
Ridiculous.
3.5 hour movie.
Well,
That's reasonable.
right? Even that, it actually is. 3.5 is fine.
That's
the 4
Lord
hour
of the Rings.
movie.
That's
Exactly.
Lord of the Rings.
Right.
That's fine. 4 hours.
Anything over pretty much Lord of the Rings, you almost first get that initial feeling like, what are you trying to do?
Right.
Like you're not like only Lord of the Rings could do that.
Well, we can.
What are you
How
doing?
dare you stood where he stood?
Now we can
stand where he stood.
we can sort of peel the onion back on like why it
ogre.
was so long, right?
Kill the
Because
ogre.
there is a lot of reasoning for it being that long, because it in some ways did have
Take
to.
us in, Dave. Take us in.
Okay.
Well, 10% of
So-
the reasoning is slow motion.
Right. So let's start with 2017. The film is
Here you
being
are. The year is 2017.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
walk
let's-
into a store.
Let's take a timeline.
You don't
don't need
check
a
it.
mask.
You don't need a mask.
Yeah.
You just sit there
Holy
and spit on the
shit.
closest person to spit on each. I can't remember. It's so weird now. I assume people just spat on each other everywhere they went.
I always spit in my hand before I shook a
Makes
someone
sense.
Bring her
else's.
here.
So Zack Snyder is directing and helping to produce the Justice League when all of a sudden his
Famous
daughter
for 300.
Yes, famous for 300, The Watchmen, a lot of different films, and he's directing the Justice League, and he's having pressure from Warner Brothers to make a lot of changes and to not really stick with his vision. Then all of a sudden, his daughter tragically commits suicide, so he steps away from the project, and Warner Brothers hires probably my least favorite
Fuck
Comedy?
you, Josh
my
Whedon.
least favorite
Comedy
director.
Fuck you, Josh
legend.
Whedon.
My
Joss
least,
Whedon.
yes.
Now, listen, people tell me I'm funny. I get it all from Joss Whedon. The guy is a comedy genius. Now, let me tell you about the funniest part of the original Justice League when Steppenwolf says something about the love justice, and Spider-Man's like,
Spider-Man.
or Superman.
I was waiting for the first.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's,
Of those.
The movie's so ridiculous that it might as well have fucking been Spider-Man. It would have made more sense. But no, when Steppenwolf says something about justice and Superman's like, oh, I know a little something about justice, and I'm a big fan of truth too. But it's like, thanks.
He says that in the first one?
Yeah.
In Joss Whedon's version, and he made it like so. Joss Whedon takes
Yeah,
over the
so
film.
I could see it because Henry Cavill is such like a. What I really like is like how they envision him because in that version he's most certainly the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman is kind of Golden Age. Superman was a Boy Scout.
Exactly.
You know-
he's been referred to as a Boy Scout.
Exactly.
Like
And, you
so
know,
many
he is a Boy
times.
Scout.
Truth,
Yeah.
justice, and the American way. That's kind of what it was based around, especially back in the 50s.
Black suit Spider-Man. Fuck, God damn it. Now you got me doing
Now, since you guys have now mentioned Spider-Man twice, I will give you an Easter egg. I'm going to sort of mention a few Easter eggs throughout the film, but one of the Easter eggs was actually Ben Parker on the grave of the
Yes,
memorial.
saw that.
So it's actually a cool like Spider-Man.
That's pretty
reference.
cool.
Yeah. So Zack Snyder had a little bit of a nod to that because he does like that film series as well. But Joss Whedon, one of my least favorite directors of all
I
time.
feel like this is going to be a
Came in-
fucking pandemic here.
Yeah.
We're going to be mispronouncing things. We
Yeah.
never do
If we do,
podcasts this late.
if we do, it's if we mispronounce names, especially in
Everyone's
like
drinking right
comic
now.
names and stuff, it's fine. We've been drinking. We
It's
started
fine.
drinking.
Get over it.
Yeah, that's what it is,
Yeah.
man. But it's
Yeah, and,
he comes
and
in-
Asian American hate.
right. So he comes
This is why
in,
we cut him off.
right? So he comes in, starts making an entire amount of change. He cuts 2 hours of Snyder's version and puts in 2 new hours of what he wants to do. And the movie comes out in 2017, and it's basically a critical failure.
It's a disjointed
fan-
mess.
Right. And the
There-
fans don't like it. The
what can
critics
be
don't
said
like
And
it.
all the
about-
front runner stars all were like, this was not the movie we signed up for.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Cavill! It's one of the reasons Cavill is at such huge odds with Warner Brothers right now.
And Momoa.
And Ben Affleck, he was
Ben
pissed.
Affleck's out.
Ben Affleck's
Yeah.
out.
Which it's unfortunate.
Well,
We'll
so
get to it
wait,
in the
Cavill
future.
is technically out.
Cavill is technically out.
We'll reach.
Actually,
we'll
I
keep
thought
going.
he came back in.
We'll see. We'll talk about that near the
Okay.
end. So
Spoiler.
it's basically a huge
Foreshadowing.
failure. Turns everyone off to DC. Now, around 2019 or so, Zack Snyder starts putting out these little snippets on Twitter and Instagram of images and clips of footage that he had of what his vision was.
Is the Snyder cut real?
Right, and he started like sort of this trend where people were started getting interested in it, and Warner Brothers didn't really want anything to do with it. However, HBO Max came out and said, "We'd be interested in seeing what you can do."
We're so desperate.
So,
We fucked up big.
well, they had Game of Thrones still,
Yeah, that's the
fucked it
fuck
up.
up.
right? But it wasn't over then. Still wasn't. It wasn't. When did Game of Thrones end?
Might not have been
2
over
years
yet.
ago.
Probably 2019.
But they probably reached out to Snyder in 2018, 2019.
Somewhere around there,
Yeah,
probably
so
2018.
yeah,
This is even before HBO Max was out.
yeah.
Yep,
So no. Listen, Game of Thrones. The failure of Game of Thrones happened well before they
I don't
reached
wanna
out
talk-
to Zack.
I don't wanna
Zack
talk about
Snyder.
it.
So they reach out to Snyder and they give him somewhere between 70 and 80 million to go back and do some reshoots and get his stuff back. So he goes out and makes this film, and they start hyping it up, and it comes out, and it came out a week ago, and so far the reviews from both the critics and the fans has basically been the exact opposite of what the original cut was. It's been really well received.
It's more serious.
It's more serious. It's more well produced. It's definitely more linear, not choppy at all. Really, it has a really nice flow to it.
It's not that choppy. Despite its length, it's really not.
Well, and they give way more importance and depth to each character.
Which is
before
needed.
it was Batman. It was Batman with Wonder Woman, and everyone else kind of tagged along.
Yep.
Cyborg was a major part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which he wasn't in the first one. Same thing with Barry.
Yep.
Like the biggest moment that obviously there's so many changes with Barry.
Yeah.
But the first thing that I really loved the most about it was one, that Iris West scene was great.
What's that? Is that the beginning?
That beginning, that
hot dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Right. So that was crazy. So
Yeah, it
it
was
started
such a good
Monday.
scene.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's
so
very
good.
much Barry Allen. And
Exactly.
Yeah, it did a lot more justice to Barry Allen than.
But do you remember in the original version when they first go down in the sewers and Barry's scared and Batman is like, just save one person, and if you can do it, like.
Yeah.
And if you do it and you think you can do it again, then do it again. If not, like, then this isn't for you.
Right.
Which I always thought was just like so super cheesy. And in this one, he's just kind of like, oh, I know what to do. I'm fucking ready. Like,
wants
he
to
was
be the
ready.
hero.
Yeah. He was in it and like ready for it.
Right. So you have to sort of understand where the timeline of the characters are in this film. It's Batman has been Batman for a long, long time. It's a very much Dark Knight Returns.
He's a grizzled Batman. He grabbed a gun fairly quickly in that movie.
Yes.
Well, and even in, I mean, he says it. He's like, I've been doing this in Gotham for 15 years.
Right. So like it's very much like the Dark Knight Returns in the Frank Miller version, where he's much more grisly, aggressive. Even in the shot where he's on top of the tank, and the spotlight is on people in the nightmare scene, those are the mutants from the Dark Knight Returns. In Frank Miller's version, when they're very like grisly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a
those
really
are still
cool shot.
parademons.
Yes. So you've got these versions. Superman's been Superman for a little while, about a couple years. And Cyborg has basically been a cyborg for probably, it looks like 6 months max.
Yeah.
Barry, probably a year as the Flash. And he's sort of starting to figure out what his potential is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got these guys at different points in their career. Wonder Woman, of course, been Wonder Woman for a long time.
Right.
Since at least
Like thousands of years.
World War I at least.
At
as
least
Wonder
it's
Woman.
been 30
Right.
years since she raped that guy. She's over it.
So you have to really understand that in these
Respect
characters.
woman.
Right. And so now you've got really a reason for that movie to be at quite an interesting length, because you have to sort of understand where Cyborg's coming from. You have to understand where the Flash is coming from, because they're newer characters. They're newer to themselves. They're just becoming who they are, especially Cyborg. He kind of comes to terms with who he is and understands that he has a responsibility as a hero, and really takes that role on to, in many ways, save the universe.
Well, and the nice thing about them expanding the roles for the other Justice League members, is because you already have the Superman. Like, the Superman movie kind of started this whole like
Man of
Snyderverse,
Steel.
whatever they're called, DC, EU, Man of Steel. Then you have Batman and Wonder Woman in Batman vs Superman.
Yep.
Justice League comes out, flop, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
But then we still had Wonder Woman.
And
Wonder
Aquaman.
Woman and Aquaman both came out, so you already knew about them still, even coming back into the Snyderverse cut. So to give those other two characters, I mean, Cyborg was just phenomenal. Like, with all the flying, like,
Ray
it
Fisher
just
was
so,
great.
Yeah, Ray Fisher was a big, and now you really understand. He was one of the biggest proponents or biggest pushers of the Snyder Cut. Now I understand. I mean, he wanted his character to flourish.
I mean, he understood and even if you look at Barry's scenes in Joss Whedon's version, you remember how it was like how the radiation spot in or the nuclear power plant is sort of like Steppenwolf space. Mm-hmm. In Whedon's version, there's like flowers and shit growing around it, like it's the world is turning different, and like the radiation is causing flowers.
Yeah,
and shit.
and
and Barry basically is like pushing this truck while the entire fight's going on. He's pushing this family away in a truck doing nothing. And in Snyder's version, he comes in and saves the entire fucking world. And
supercharged Ron.
He does he harnesses the Speed Force. And really is like, hey, this
Reverses
is my
time.
opportunity to really be who I am. And he reverses time. And Goose hated that the reason is because his idea was like, well, why can't he just reverse time in everything, like in every scenario? And I'm like, well, there comes a huge risk at that. He doesn't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Right?
right. That's the thing.
Well, and he
that's
mentioned
like
it,
That's
and-
like it's much like HBO doing the Snyder cut. It's a huge risk, but you have nothing else to lose at that point.
I mentioned the Butterfly Effect movie. You know, you ever seen that with Ashton
I try
Kutcher?
not to.
It's not a great
Fuck,
film.
No, it's not a great
It's
film.
not a great
It's not even
film.
a good film. It ends horribly. It ends the single worst ending of a movie. So unsatisfying.
Yeah. But it's I use that as a reference because like he tries to make a small change and it really throws everything into chaos because once again, a tiny little change can lead down a path of all these other changes that you don't expect.
Well, one of the cool things that I really liked about the Flash TV show
Yeah.
and how it incorporated with the whole Arrowverse
Yeah.
is I think it's at the end of season 2 or maybe even season 3, they actually do Flashpoint where
Yes.
he goes back and he's happy with his family, but really it's like time is now cementing itself, but he realizes it's so different, it's not right.
So he has to
So he has to go back, but he actually switches stuff. Like Arrow's partner is this guy I can't remember, but he has a kid.
Yeah.
And originally it's a boy. And then after Flashpoint, like even in a totally different show in the Arrow,
Yeah.
it's now a girl, and that whole like continuity thing, but just like the massive repercussions, you know, affected other series too. And that's what was like, you know, Flashpoint is a big deal. You can't just
Flashpoint at least in terms of the comic series, it's probably
It's
one
massive.
of the it's probably
It is one of the
greatest
biggest moments.
Probably one of the greatest moments in comic book history, like the most famous moments, the most like the biggest, because it really it shows off that like the Flash is more than just a speed demon. He pretty much is like the second most powerful member of the Justice League.
yeah, after
Really
Superman,
is.
he's
Second,
definitely
second only to Hawk Girl.
Like,
I hate you.
yeah,
But she does have nth metal.
okay, yeah.
If that means anything to anyone.
so once
She's
again,
also Thanagarian.
Yeah, so
Another tidbit.
Whoa.
like the
Hold on.
response.
Let's get back to the real meat of that sentence.
So the response for the most part has been awesome, like we said. So as for the numbers, the DC Extended Universe after the first weekend was fandom's #1 trending community over the weekend. Since Thursday's release, the DC community received 2.5 million page views, 55% more than the original release of the Justice League. The DC EU gained almost 1 million page views over that weekend, 62% more than the original release. And of course, in terms of like voting which one's better, it's been, of course, much more well received. I think they got somewhere around like 2 million in the first couple days.
So
of
I think
streams.
what can be summed up the most about the original Justice League,
Yeah.
or at least when Josh Whedon took over,
bad.
is the scene. Yeah, it's bad. Is the scene where Superman comes back and Aquaman's like, "All right."
Yeah. I also
Can you
I
please
also-
call-
I also
wanna
really
watch it
liked-
just
I,
so
I don't know where I would find it.
go, YouTube.
I
Maybe.
also
Fairly
really
pop-
liked.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Maybe you don't think you'll be able to find a scene from a movie on YouTube?
Maybe. So what
do you mean,
now,
maybe? I'm
out of
confused.
all of Joss Whedon's campy shit, there is one that I did enjoy, and it was the part when Superman does come back and he looks up to Batman and goes, "Do you bleed?" Like from Batman.
Oh,
v
yeah.
Superman.
That
And
was
he
great.
Just decks the shit out of Batman, and Batman's like, "Yep, something's definitely bleeding." Like, and I was fine with that being out, but I kind of missed it. I was like, that was one funny thing. That
There
I
was one
enjoyed.
other moment that I liked, and I'm pretty sure it's not in the new one, when Flash and Cyborg like actually become friends, and Cyborg says his iconic
Booyah.
Booyah.
No, there was no booyah.
Yeah, there was no booyah. There was in the first one, and I really enjoyed that.
Yes. Now there was some bonding in them for them like being bros a little bit when they were like trying to break into the base. He asked Cyborg's like, "So Wonder Woman, do you think she's into younger guys? Maybe."
Yeah.
And he goes, "She's 5,000 years old, Barry. Every guy is younger." Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of funny because he is like in the. Some people kind of complain that he was very dark and brooding compared to what he was in Teen Titans. And I'm like, well, yes, in Teen Titans, he is like very much more hyperactive and like energetic and go-getting.
But also,
then-
since like 2011, Cyborg's been like a member of the Justice League,
Right,
Since they rewrote everything.
Also, the
Right.
Teen Titans already have a depressed character.
Yes, but also
Yeah, they
even
are wrong.
in
I guess which one?
even in Teen Titans, when like he's bonding with Raven a couple times over the fact that he's different and over the fact that he has this loss of connection, like he does. Right. And it was a great show.
TEENTITANS.
Even they became those two
That
girls
was a
became
great
so
show.
popular. They got their own show.
Teen Titans Go is a gross bastardization of the
Why
Teen
would they
Titans I
do
love.
that?
Because
Like,
younger kids. For
I
younger
know,
kids.
but they
Fuck
do that with
younger
like
kids.
everything now.
Dude,
yeah.
they have Baby Shark. They can do their way into their fucking to sleep. Fuck kids.
Yeah.
Well, like Teen Titans.
Why do we have to ruin everything that's great for the sake of kids? Kids Bop.
Yeah.
It's like let's take these great songs and fucking water them down so that your 4-year-old can get down to Cocaine by Eric Clapton.
Well, I was gonna say, I would love to see the Kids Bop version of Wet Ass Pussy.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. That's gonna be interesting. But
We got
Sucking it, dropping it,
and it's just like the music video. It's like some 12-year-old guys doing like hopscotch and shit.
I want
while
to
they're
take
doing
a
it.
bath with my plastic boat.
Oh my god.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah. But
Yeah, fuck kids. I'm sick of them running our fucking world.
so what was your guys' favorite Easter egg of the entire?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Right up until pretty much, I mean, I was already like half in the bag when I got here, and a 4-hour movie was a bad idea at that point.
Yeah.
I just like the allusions to Injustice.
That was good.
Obviously, I love that because I think that's such a better storyline than like.
it's one of the.
It's
Yeah,
such
it's
good
a great story.
It's like, dude, it's like.
Well, after
when-
the video games, they made Injustice 1 and 2, which they made comic books of as well, but they also made it into like season 3, 4, and 5, which was like essentially like 3 more games.
Well,
like they
And
continued
here's
that
my
story. It
argument
was
for
so
the
good.
Injustice storyline is like, and why I don't like campy shit in the DC movies
Yeah.
is because they haven't marketed themselves as the camp. Marvel are the campy movies.
Yeah.
That's where you go to take your kids and like.
Have fun.
Oh,
Right.
Cap told him not to swear.
yeah.
Good for him.
Ding.
But like DC was supposed to be like
Language?
Yeah, language.
Yeah.
Yeah, DC was supposed to be like the grittier fucking like
and it
in
was.
Man of
This
Steel.
one definitely was.
Yeah, it was definitely so. It's like that's why. Obviously, I hate the Joss Whedon, his additions to that movie, but like any campiness other than something that's funny but gritty, but just like for somebody to be campy when it's totally out of character,
Yes.
it kind of like jars me out of the moment.
Right.
A movie could be really good, but when somebody breaks their character for no real reason, that's what kind of fucks me up.
So I actually got into a really interesting feud with this guy on Facebook talking about this.
Wait,
so,
I really wanted to hear what your favorite Easter egg was.
so my favorite Easter egg was actually
Because I have a bunch.
So my favorite.
I got a baker's dozen.
So my first favorite was the implication that Lois may be pregnant because she had a pregnancy test when she opened her up.
It's
My second one was in the hot dog truck or the truck that hits the girl that Flash saves. The name on the truck of the whatever produce or whatever shipment it is named after the guy who wrote the Flash.
oh cool.
Yes, and then the other one was while Bruce is pulling out with Barry in the Mercedes and they leave the alley, there's a billboard right on that building, and it's the suicide prevention a billboard for his daughter.
Oh,
So I actually like that one. That was a really interesting one. There was also a Zack Snyder cameo in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, there
when
was a
Lois
Zack
Lane's
Snyder
walking out of the
cameo.
cafe, Zack Snyder's in the cafe just eating, drinking, whatever.
oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Well, I liked, wow. Now mine are not nearly as good since
Yes.
yours are meaningful.
The one
Mine
that
are
Barry,
just other DC stuff.
the one that Barry
that's
said.
what I think. Like
Yeah.
Easter eggs like that, I wasn't thinking of.
Right.
All right. So what
Things
was
to
yours?
other DC goings-ons.
Right.
Yeah.
So like
What was yours?
when they showed where Batman was working on his plane, the building said Ferris Airlines. Ferris Airlines was the airline that Hal Jordan worked for.
Oh yeah.
And whatever her name, whatever Ferris, like the daughter, she
Yeah.
becomes his like purple. I can't remember, but she has like a pink ring. Like her power is like the power of love.
Okay.
Some other shit like that. Can't remember.
Because there's different colors for the rings. There's
Yeah.
Will is green, fear is yellow,
Yeah,
red
there's
is
a
rage,
whole- there's a
Orange-
bunch.
Yeah. Orange is avarice. Red is rage.
avarice,
Avarice is
jealousy,
greed.
Greed,
Yeah. Blue is hope. Green is
Will. Green is what?
Right. Purple is like judgment, like fairness.
Okay, that makes sense. So the statue
spectrum.
the statue that Wonder Woman was standing on at the, when in her bomb scene is it's like the symbol for justice,
Right.
That it was on. Barry's when he's talking about his skills, he was talking about fluent in gorilla sign language, which is a nod to Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah,
one of
Gorilla
his-
Grodd. That
one
was
of his.
I didn't
nemesis.
put that together.
Yeah. Also, the cop that remember how we were making fun of the cop who just pulled his gun out when Superman came out in that one scene where they're facing off against him. That's Jimmy Olsen from the original.
That's
Jimmy
awesome.
Olsen from the original.
No, I know.
Like
Jimmy.
Superman
Spider-Man
Yeah.
TV show.
with Christopher
Spider-Man?
Reeve.
Yeah, with Chris
Chris-
Reeves.
the Christopher
yeah, well, now
Reeve
we've all
movies.
said
The
it.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
with
now we've
Christopher Reeves?
we've
Yeah.
all said Spider-Man. What was another good one?
Spider-Man.
Who was-
Spider-Man gets his power from the sun. Spider-Man, he's not from here.
What's Cyborg's dad's name?
Oh, I have it right here. Maybe. No, it just.
But
said
just
Cyborg's
like
father.
the Star Labs employee guy,
Star Labs.
the Asian guy that worked for him.
He's the Atom.
Yeah, he's the Atom.
Yes.
exactly. So I just liked how at the end they're like, to add more. The Green Lantern in the one scene was awesome.
That was Kilowog, I
Yeah,
think.
no, this is like so many years
Yeah, it was
before.
like it was probably the same race, but it's not.
Or Yalan Gur, the guy from the original 5,000
Right, they
Year
all
Battle.
look like him, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that was
Yeah. Lady Goodness. You saw Lady Goodness in the end.
not Lady Goodness, Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
Granny Goodness. She is basically like if the principal from Matilda was a general in a demonic army.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
literally.
Oh, she's that like the old fat lady who always wears a metal leotard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sadistic bitch
Yeah.
who like basically
Yeah, she's
trains the
sick.
soldiers to be torturous.
Yeah,
and
Granny
sadistic.
Goodness is a real badass bitch. I was hoping to see Big Barda in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that
who's
would've been
another
nice.
one of them.
Now-
And then it would have been great to see like Orion, which
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, you
that's
guys
getting-
are starting
that's
to
getting
start to
complicated.
dive
Now-
out of my depth.
because they're the new gods.
Right. Now, I think
Oh, there we go.
So I think the great thing about this Snyder Cut was actually one of the best parts was the upgrade of Steppenwolf. Not just
So much better.
not
So
just the
much
look,
better.
not
So
just the
much
look.
better.
He
Way
doesn't look.
better
He doesn't
villain.
look like he's made of coral.
Yeah.
He looks
he
great.
had a purpose.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
was the thing.
Well,
It's
and
like,
and his daddy issues were great and
that was the
relatable.
thing. It's like you knew why he was doing it. And the other one, it's like, yo, bro, why
I
are
found
you,
the anti-life equation.
Right. So in the comic books, Apocalypse is basically just like
Darkseid.
a world of demigods where originally it was Darkseid's father was the ruler of Apocalypse. And depending on where you look, Steppenwolf is either the brother or the nephew. So he's either the uncle or the nephew of Darkseid in the comics. And so Zeuxas, which basically is Darkseid's infant form or younger form, is the one that lost the battle at Earth against the gods and the Green Lantern and all that. So he loses, and then when he goes back to Apocalypse, his father has died or has been defeated. And so basically there's a power grab at Apocalypse, and Darkseid wins. Steppenwolf tries to be the leader because he thinks he might have a rightful shot, but loses. Darkseid wins, and the betrayal basically means that Steppenwolf owes him 50,000 worlds to conquer. And that's where he's in the story, this idea of trying to redeem himself for his master or his uncle or nephew.
So Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle.
Or nephew, depending on where you look in the series.
Okay.
Yeah, it's someone. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other.
Yeah, it changes.
Yes. But it really did give him a really interesting like perspective, and like he's trying to come home, he's trying to redeem himself, and so this push to really move forward and always trying to talk with I can't remember the other guy's name, the guy in the hood, Draxus. Desaad.
Easy.
Very submissive, very like always trying to like, can I come home yet? Can I get there? And then when he finds the anti-life equation,
Daddy.
it shows some real promise for him to be able to come home. And so for those who don't know what the anti-life equation is, it is basically a mathematical formula that once you harness it can basically bend people's will to live. So if you control that, you can basically control any world you step onto. So that's why Darkseid is so much
Life
out
without
front.
life.
Yes.
Anti-life.
Yeah. So it really was a really good way for the villain to basically have purpose instead of it just being some cut and dry cardboard cutout of a villain that, oh, here comes the bad guy. Let's beat the bad
Is
guy.
Darkseid even mentioned at all in the first one?
Maybe, I think.
No, he's
Maybe,
not.
Like they maybe
other
they even
than
like
other
allude
than
to
other
it,
than
but-
that,
maybe
other
when
than
he's
they
talking.
mentioned that Steppenwolf's a herald for a greater evil.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who could it be?
Which kind of makes sense.
Who is it?
'Cause that's
Like,
that's how
no.
Joss Whedon did the Avengers movie, the first Avengers
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
There was
that's
no
how he
mention of
does
Thanos.
shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's that Disney model is like,
Yeah.
you got to play it dumb because they're casting a wide net.
Yes.
You
It's-
know?
Right,
But
because
that's-
exactly by not naming a villain or not giving anything, you know, exactly. You cast a wide net. You can go so broad with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned before, Evan, that like DC really has the opportunity and really, especially what Zack Snyder did with Man of Steel, is it set the precedent.
He was about to say it again. He was about to say
was I about to say?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
Superman, Man of Steel.
Spider-Man, Man of Steel.
does whatever a little spider can.
Yeah. So he set the
Jumps over
precedent
him,
that it's
building.
really going to be taking on a much
He's
more.
much faster than a train. Watch out.
It's a spider
Steel.
person,
It's super spider.
super steel spider.
Superman spider.
Super steel Spider-Man.
It's Tobey Maguire before he gets his real Superman or his God damn it. This
Now Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man.
Meanwhile, Homer Simpson's bit carrying the pig on the ceiling.
Yeah,
Still.
spider pig, spider pig.
Jesus.
What a great! That's a great scene. It's so simple yet so funny. It's
Spider
great.
pig?
How did this peg tracks get on the ceiling?
Yeah, I know.
What a great scene. It's so
It's
simple
the
and
pig's
hilarious.
face that really does it. It looks like the platypus off Phineas and Ferb, just completely fucking unaware of what's going on at all times. Apparently, pigs are. Not apparently.
smart.
They're smart as shit.
Yeah.
This guy, buddy of mine, Mike, he used to have pigs, and one day one of them got out of the pen and was just walking down the road. And he went to get it with his car, and then he caught up to the pig, and then he was like, "Shit, man, I'm never gonna be able to get this pig in this car, and even if I do, it's gonna break. It's 500-pound animal. It's gonna just shatter your leaf springs."
Yeah.
So he basically got in front of it and grabbed it and was like, "Hey, go home!" And the pig was just like, and just turned around and then just started walking home.
They're smart, man.
Yeah, they are smart.
They really are. But
If they're so smart.
But Zack Snyder set a precedent with Man of Steel in the fact that it was able to take on something much darker, not necessarily darker, but much more serious in terms of conversation, in terms of symbolism. Like a lot of people who were like the vanilla fan versions of Superman were kind of pissed that he killed Zod. And
I hate this thing where it's like these superheroes can't fucking kill anybody because it's like, dude,
Right.
okay, the Joker single-handedly responsible for how many thousands of deaths?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like
it's
he would have the death penalty.
right,
Yeah, dude.
so
New York has a death penalty. They just never used it, but they would definitely use it on the fucking Joker.
Yeah,
So-
bioterror.
Okay.
Like
So-
and you're
releasing
telling
a
me,
gas.
dude, there's never been a cop that's just shot the Joker?
Yeah.
You know what I
in
mean?
one version,
not one guy ever once just said, fuck it, dude, I'm retiring in 10 minutes.
in one version, I think there is in one version where Gordon does take a cap at him because I think he did something to his daughter. But
Yeah, he
that's
shoots
like-
his daughter.
Yeah,
that's
the
how
fact-
she
his
becomes.
daughter.
That's how
Yeah.
she goes
The
from
fact
Batgirl
that
to
that's-
Oracle.
Yeah, okay, yeah, classic.
Killing Joke.
Classic
Kill-
cop.
Great fucking graphic
Well,
novel
of course,
series.
that's
Watch the movie too. It's so good.
It's fucked up.
so creepy. The end because you hear
Yes.
the laugh and then you hear the punches afterwards.
Yeah, but
Or the gunshot.
but no the
That's another reason, I like Injustice. Good. I'm glad Superman killed the Joker.
right. So you've got so on DC Empire's Facebook page, I made a post saying that for people who say that Zack Snyder doesn't know source material, doesn't know the source material as well as they think. And the reason I made that post is because in a lot of the DC films that he does, there are a lot of still shots that you can see in Zack Snyder's work that look like still frames from the graphic novel. Many times, like the famous water tower scene in Batman v Superman, where he grabs on the water tower and then grapples off, still shot from the graphic novel. Several times in Wonder Woman, or even in Man of Steel, the exact same thing. And in Justice League, a lot of times that you can pause that film, it looks like a still from a graphic novel. You look at it, you take a still shot from Joss Whedon's version, or from Avengers even, it basically looks like a still from
Coloring book.
You could
Justice
replace them.
League coloring
You
book.
could replace
Yeah.
them. You could replace them with a fucking scene from Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it's so standard and cookie cutter. It doesn't have any.
It's like fucking Power Rangers when the
It was
villains
I gotta look it up.
come
So-
out and then the sparks fly and then they all jump 2 seconds
right.
later.
And so I made that post, and this guy basically was like, "No, that's not right," and he started going off about how, Superman doesn't kill. I'm like, wait, the reason that he did this, the reason that Zack Snyder went in this is because that people like you and I could have this conversation right now about really, like, everyone has their own set of morals. But anytime that you're pushed, you are challenged. Whether you break it or not, you are challenged to face that. Are you going to break that code? Are you going to be able to burn the dead with who you are and become something new?
It's not so much Superman who kills Steppenwolf.
Right. It's when Wonder Woman does, but he kills Zod.
And Aquaman.
He snaps Zod's neck.
Yeah, that's true.
But once again, he's faced with it. And Zod said he's never going to stop. As he's holding Zod, he's like, stop. And he's about to basically kill this family. You're like, I will destroy you.
Oh, yeah. He's about to fucking
kill a family. And he said he'll never stop. And so he just does it. And you can see he's distraught because he didn't want to be that. And the great thing I loved about the Snyder Cut is when Superman's walking through the Fortress of Solitude, donning the black suit. And at both time in the background, you hear both speeches from
both
Kent,
his fathers,
his father Kent and father Jor-El. And the great thing about the Man of Steel is the idea of people like to compare that version of Superman to like a Christ-like figure. But the great part about that I love is the fact that many on Krypton view the idea of basically duty and destiny, where like you're only born to be this.
Well,
However,
that was also
Jor-El,
like the problems with that.
Exactly.
Like the big thing in the comics, like Krypton was almost like ancient China. Like it was like a caste system for sure.
And that's one of the reasons it failed.
And also, I think Superman was like the only baby
was
like
a
to
natural
be
born.
naturally conceived.
So what it was, he wasn't genetically created to be a soldier like Zod was. Zod's only thing that his identity, his only thing that he knew was to rule and to conquer.
Not only was he a
defend
soldier, he was bred to be a general, a leader.
And to protect Krypton.
That was his whole purpose in being.
Right. And that's the great thing that both his fathers told him is like, you are destined to do amazing things. But it is your choice. At the end of the day, it is your choice. Your destiny is to, once again, do amazing things. But at the end of the day, you get to choose who you want to be. And, that's at the end of the day why Batman is conflicted. It's like, this could be a hero or he could be a conqueror, which is, again, one of the things that happened. What's cool about Injustice is that it goes wrong, right? Or even in The Red Sun, the graphic novel The Red Sun, instead of landing in Kansas, he lands in communist Russia.
Also, watch that one on
the graphic,
DC animated.
So
good.
They have an animated one of that as well. So it's a really cool juxtaposition of
Batman is like a rebel terrorist.
Yeah,
so funny.
Wonder Woman is like kind of found and sort of embraces it as well. But she
embraces it with Superman at first, and then when she realizes that like Stalin is controlling him, she's like, I'm done.
Right. It's a great series, but that's the great thing about DC movies is that you are able to have these difficult conversations that it's not meant to be campy. It's meant for people to actually delve into these difficult
one of the first things
things
that Charlotte said when we were watching Snyder Cut, she's like, "Oh, this is way more monochromatic than the Avengers movies." Yeah, or Marvel.
Yeah, it's
darker tone.
They're both good in their own perspectives, but like if you want to go for the fun, adventurous kind of style,
well, see, I always thought
Guardians
the fighting
of the
was
Galaxy
better.
So great. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy is so fun because it's meant to be fun. You're coming in there because you hear 80s rock and pop, and it's meant to be that boom kind of feel. But with DC, like the action scenes are much more.
Well, I think the action scenes are way better because I mean, really, these people have powers like Superman,
the gods.
Wonder Woman. They are, when you see Iron Man fly over, I mean, he still has to fly over. When Superman flies over, it's a boom. He's from here to here in a second, and that punch isn't a punch; it's a fucking boulder. Yeah, like it is.
That's why I like the way the boys. That's why I like the way the boys does.
Yeah.
Fucking Homelander.
Yeah.
It's because like it really displays like how crazy his powers really are.
I've always wanted to watch.
That's why they needed him for Steppenwolf because they even knew we can't handle this guy. We need the big blue. We need him. But if you watch Aquaman,
what's that movie with evil Superman?
Oh,
he's a child.
I'm poking. I know exactly. It's only an hour and a half long movie, by the way.
I've always wanted to watch it. It's become like a cult classic. Evil Superman child movie. Bloodborne or something?
It's Brightburn. Brightburn. Yeah. Apparently, like you said, it's become a kind of a cult classic. It's kind of like a suspenseful thriller in some points, which is kind of cool, Basically, if you took took a Superman kid and turned him into like a dark, sadistic kid with a psycho disorder of some
Yeah,
sort.
who could stop him?
You're
No
right.
one.
It's terrifying. And like basically, it's like the mom is trying to like
The mom's trying to, yeah.
coax him and treat him, but it's too late at some point. It's just there's a snap at some point. But you've got like what was it in Aquaman? When we're speaking of fight scenes, there in the first fight scene in the movie in the lighthouse is a single camera angle that just moves. And it's a nonstop action sequence of the mom basically just going ham and taking out these Atlantean like soldiers.
Fish robo assassins.
Yeah. And there's a couple of those like that in in the fight in Italy where it's a single shot and it's really well
When they're
shot.
doing like the parkour and you can see Mira running through the building.
Yeah.
And Aquaman running on top of it. Yeah, that was a great scene.
It's a really cool. So the action scenes in Justice League really do have, and in the DC at least, they have a really cool camera angles. They're different from what a traditional action movie would be. So that does add another layer of depth to it.
So you brought up Injustice a bunch of times. You know, before Snyder was kicked off and then the movie flopped, the intention was to make 3 movies, and it was going to follow that sort of Injustice timeline.
Exactly. Even the Injustice guy, the creator of Injustice, came out yesterday and was like, "This is going to be awesome," because he knew what Snyder was looking at, and he's like, "This is going to be because it's a great fucking
such
story."
a good story.
So-
It is.
That's the thing. Is here's the point I wanted to make with like the DC universe and doing the Justice League Assemble shit, and it's the same as if another Spider-Man movie were to come out and give him an origin story. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants a Batman origin story. We know how the Justice League gets assembled.
So here are the films.
Like, give us the meat.
Right.
So here were the films that were intended to come out after Justice League with Zack Snyder. You were going to get a Batman movie written by Ben Affleck, which has already been written by, I think, and Joe Manganiello, who's the guy who plays Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, yeah, Joe Manganiello.
He came out
Whatever
yesterday
it is.
and said that this was supposed to be basically like The Game. Remember the movie The Game?
No.
It's a fucking
Oh,
awesome.
the game is a fucking amazing.
He compared
movie.
it to The Game. And said
I
that
just
it's
imagined
basically
it was
supposed
going to be him versus Ben Affleck and pretty much like
If
this.
they're comparing it to
in
the
pretty
game,
much like
that's-
the Hatchet.
That's
Dude,
what Manganiello
that's
was.
a ballsy fucking call.
like
'cause
Hunger
the game
Games.
is one of those
Hunger
movies.
Games for the two of them.
Dude, you have to watch the game.
Okay.
That's definitely one. It's Michael Douglas and Sean Penn and the craziest fucking movie you've ever seen in your life.
So Joe Manganiello compared Ben Affleck's script, which basically was supposed to be Batman versus Deathstroke, to The Game. Because at the end of Justice League, Joe Manganiello finds out Batman's identity because Luthor tells him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like,
this
this
Snyder cut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch the last hour. I know I missed a lot.
9 beers in, you were kind of phasing out the last 20
9
minutes.
beers in. Fuck, dude, a 4-hour movie is a lot
I
to
know.
pay attention to. Bro.
I know. But it was so that movie was intention to come out. There was gonna be a Flash movie coming out that Ben
I think
Affleck,
that's still coming out.
Ben Affleck is actually being a part of.
I don't know if that's official, but he's been asked to like come back to it.
Yep.
Oh no, I think Ben Affleck is officially a part of it. Michael Keaton,
Yes.
is in the runnings to being a part of it.
Because
That'd
it's
be
supposed
cool.
to be like a
Dude, Michael
time-
Keaton
But I
is
think, but now
slaying it.
after this success that it's had, I think they're opening back. You know, they're opening the book up again
Right.
because Henry Cavill
Yep.
did jump off. Like when he was making Witcher 2, he was having like creative differences, and he was like, "I'm done. Like I'm doing The Witcher. Like, and I don't need this."
Yep.
I think there's been some sort of reconciliation.
So from what I've read, especially today, the main sort of grind point for Cavill is right now one of the heads of Warner Brothers, and so HBO Max, Warner Brothers, and DC have kind of made a talk. Warner Brothers right now looks like has basically come out and said we're not interested. However, HBO and HBO Max have come out and said we are interested. So people have been reaching out to Snyder on Twitter saying, is there any hope to see the rest of this universe? And Snyder has he came out on Twitter and said, watch it and encourage others to watch it, and you will get this.
Well, I was about to
Watch
say,
it,
you
they
know,
will come.
release the Snyder cut was almost the internet's first big like power play on
Executive
executives.
producers.
Exactly.
A second, They learned their power with Sonic, and then they
I compared that as well.
This came
is
out
like-
before. This came out before that.
This
Oh,
was
really?
trending.
Then-
Yes, this was
yeah.
trending before that.
Because
so
Sonic,
I didn't know that.
Before it was just a push to get it started. Once it got started, people were just like, "Okay, it's happening. We
Yeah.
will wait."
right. So in about 2018
That's
with
cool.
But then
Sonic.
Then they pushed back with GME, the power of the
hold up,
internet,
hold up.
baby.
So let's
The hive
let's
mind.
remind what
Rebel!
happened. So let's
together
remember.
strong.
So let's remember what happened with Sonic, right? We already knew the Sonic movie was coming out, and people as movie fans and gamers basically were like,
Sonic
we're
is
excited.
iconic. He's loved.
We're excited, but we're also nervous, right?
You don't fuck with my Sonic.
Right. So they're excited but nervous. The first trailer comes out, and he does not look good at all, right? He just doesn't look good. It just looks disgusting.
Each one of
almost.
his hairs is like electric blue.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's also he's
like
skinny
neon,
and tall
like, yeah, it
and
was-
weird. And so the trailer got a bunch of downvotes.
Yeah, it was
There's a
hard.
huge
It was
fuss.
hard. It's-
And then so Sega and the producer said
Sega.
they came out and said, "We hear you," right? And that's something that a lot
That's
of
what I
fans
mean,
don't
dude.
get to
I-
do.
I-
they don't
whenever I
experience
hear
that.
I had never thought the studio
Right.
was going to do
And they
that.
say-
They were going to
and
say,
they-
"Here's your fucking movie."
Right, and they extended the deadline.
you'll watch
they
it.
spent time and money that
What
they didn't know they
studio
were going
was
to get
that?
back. I don't remember. Paramount maybe.
I mean, they.
I think it is Paramount.
Is
Yeah.
it?
You know, Sonic.
I'm
Sonic
still
2.
not getting Paramount Plus.
Sonic 2 was like green lighted
Yes. So that
with
was,
Tails.
great
With
game.
Tails this time. Oh, it's supposed to be like based off that game.
Good. Those 3 games, Sonic 1 through 3 for the Sega
I
Genesis.
remember how
everyone-
you could plug in the second part that
Oh,
had
yeah.
Knuckles on it.
Bro, I remember this. It's-
Yeah, Paramount
I could
Pictures.
probably get
I
it
know.
from New York.
I
I
know.
have Sonic 3 with Supersonic totally unlocked.
Yeah.
It took so long to beat all of those fucking special ring zones.
So going on to Sonic real quick, like big Sonic aficionados from Dreamcast to
Genesis.
GameCube, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. People have been asking for a remake or an HD remake to be remastered, or Sonic Adventure 3. And the big thing that those 2 games had was the Chow Garden. These little fucking
yeah.
blue things that you just like nurtured with animals that you saved. And it was the dumbest
that's
fucking
sick.
adventure.
No, that is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
'Cause
was
you
really
save a
great.
shitload of animals in
Exactly.
Sonic.
And then
That's
you
the
go
whole
to the
point.
Chow Garden and like it helps them evolve, and they turn into like Chaos Chows and like Angel Chows that unlock
Huh.
2 new zones. And it was really fucking popular and addicting and so much fun. And there hasn't been a Sonic game that has had a Chow Garden since.
Right.
And like if you look on like the forums on like NeoGAF or Reset Era, I mean, it's people want Sonic
What
Adventure
are those 2
3.
websites you just mentioned?
Oh, those are the old school gaming web forums.
Jeez.
Yeah.
NeoGAF,
Is that
NeoGAF,
any
and
relation
Reset
to
Era.
Neopets?
Nope.
No.
Thank God.
Yeah. But like you said, we're seeing this thing now where
Power of the
these
people.
studios are really starting to understand that, hey, if we want to make money, we have to understand that these properties that we're handling right now have a fan base. And that fan base, at the end of the day, we will gain other fans. But at the end of the day, these fans kind of deserve a certain thing. And if we want to see the consistency of that revenue, we want to be able to stay with the consistency of this fan base, right?
I think the best thing they can do is what Marvel's doing, and that's have a creative director.
Yep.
Kevin Feige is,
Kevin
say what
Feige and John Favreau.
Yeah,
John
say what
Favreau,
you
yeah.
want about the MCU. It's prolific, and it was a game changer.
It did. It raised the bar in a lot of
18
things.
years. 18 fucking years that
18
ran.
years.
With TV shows, movies. People still watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I love Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'll stand by
Fun
it.
case
I never
in
got to
point.
watch it, but
It's
I
the
know
first
it's good.
half of season 1 might be the worst television I've ever seen in my life.
See, that's what turned me off is the first half of season 1 is rough.
It's the very first episode, because it was like Avengers came out and then they released this show, and I was like, cool, like a Shield show.
Yeah.
I watched the first like 10 minutes, like up into the first commercial, and I
Boring.
was like, this blows.
It was
I
like
turned it
Monster of the Week type shit, and it was like
pretty
they would
much. Not
allude
even
to the Avengers.
but not even episode 1 had like any of that shit. It was
no.
like in F-43, it's like, you know, the an E, like whatever the code was for alien object, E524. We have an E, like code E524. We have to get it.
Focusing on jackass shit.
And then I stopped watching it. I come home like a year later from college. My brother has it on TV.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. I would like tell it was Marvel, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's Agent of Shield." I was like, "That show sucks." He's like, "Dude, it
got good.
gets great."
Really?
I mean,
He's like, and seasons 1 to 3 are phenomenal.
Okay.
Everything, all those shows start to fall off afterwards.
Any
And
show
then you
falls
just
off.
watch them because it's like I have to see how it ends.
Yeah.
Right.
The
I agree
100
with
worst
you.
fucking ending ever. Last season worst TV show ever. First season great.
First season of the first 2 episodes of the 100 was awesome.
Fire, it's lit.
But then I figured it out. I was like, oh, you ran out of steam. You blew your load.
Yeah.
In the first 40 minutes of this show, you blew the entire load.
There are some shows that really do start off on a roll, and then over time, it's like we have to figure out.
Designated Survivor.
Well,
is
seasons
one
1
of
and
those.
2 of the 100 are fire.
Okay.
I could tell they were running out of steam immediately. Like 4 episodes into the first season, it was like they built up the big conflict with the inhabitants of Earth, and it's like, man, I feel like you guys don't know where to go after that.
We kill him, and then what?
And then what? And
then there's more.
And then it turns out that the enemy was us the whole time. It's like, yeah, that's every fucking show.
This is a society.
It's
Yes,
like, yeah,
so-
this
Which is a
society.
big Jared Leto moment for the Snyder cut.
So
Was that in there?
Yeah, poor Jared Leto. Yeah, he adds it in at the very end.
Oh, that's rough.
Leto
I'm
did a
gonna
good
have to go
job.
back. No, he did look good. I remember seeing
what I
him.
wanted
remember
to
that.
comment on about the other 2 movies is with the nightmare scene. I thought they were gonna do this graphic novel, DCEU movie called Doom, which is essentially Batman. You know, he forms the team, but
Right.
then he realizes this team is too strong. What if one of them goes bad? What do I do? So he devises a plan against them as emergency backup measures, and then this other bad guy, Taskmaster, I think it is.
it might be Taskmaster. 'cause-
Prometheus, I think. No, Taskmaster is Marvel. Prometheus is that
Yes.
version. He's
Yes.
basically like Batman. He's like the same type of person.
right, and so he finds that vault.
Right, and finds it and then uses all of those plans against the Justice League.
I
And then
remember
no
that.
one trusts Batman afterwards. So I figured that would be like movie 2, and then movie 3 is like gaining his trust, Batman gaining their
Well-
trust again to be like, I need to bring the team together.
Well, apparently in the Snyder universe, Batman is supposed to die. And
At the end.
At the end, and Lois and Clark's son becomes the new Batman because they named him Bruce
which-
Kent.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't love that. Only because if you follow the mainstream, there is a Jonathan Kent, and he essentially is Superboy.
Yeah.
And Bruce's son Damian is the Robin, and like the heir apparent to the Batman throne.
And who's also in the League of Assassins, raised by the League of
Talia-
Assassins by Talia
yeah.
al Ghul. Yeah,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different universes and a lot of different.
Talia
scenarios,
basically
which
like
makes-
rapes Batman for his
Right. I mean, but that's the cool thing about the DC compared to Marvel is that there are so many different universes because it's the extended universe because there's so many realities,
Right.
like the New 52.
Well,
and,
Marvel
like,
has that. Marvel has that as well
In some ways,
They have the
but-
ultimate universe, and then they just merged all their universes.
Yeah. So it gets kind of conglomerated. But the cool thing about like
In Doom
the
World, where
Storm,
Doom was a god.
right? Like if you look at the Flash, like you've got multiple iterations where sometimes they're in the same universe. There are 3 Flashes.
Yeah.
You've got Barry Allen, you've got his kid, and with Kid Flash, and then you've got
Jay
another
Garrick,
Flash.
I mean-
yeah. And so in one of the animated TV shows, there are 3 Flashes, and in one scenario, one can kind of like sacrifices himself so that the other 2 live.
Are you talking about Young Justice?
Yes.
Because Young Justice is great.
What a great fucking show.
The only thing that I was really upset about is season 1 and season 2 are really good. Then
Yeah.
then it got canceled, and then
Right.
it got brought back on HBO Max.
Yep.
Is that the cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young
Justice.
Justice is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But then,
Buddy.
ooh, Charlotte Winkler, what do you want, girlfriend? Sorry, we're busy.
I mean, that's not her fault.
But then they make this season 3 Outsiders, which just isn't up to snuff. It's good, but it's not nearly as good as the first
it's
two.
new writers, I think, probably.
Well,
Especially
they
with
do
that G
include
team.
like the whole apocalypse and dark side shit, which they started to allude to.
So one thing that I would love, like everyone would love to see this universe continued. My favorite thing, the greatest thing that I would love to see, of course, is the
Ryan Reynolds is Green Lantern.
not necessarily because I would
Absolutely.
actually prefer to see not Hal Jordan.
Deadpool as Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna
The
get another
great-
black guy to do it.
Well,
John Stewart.
John Stewart was a great.
He's amazing.
Prefer John
He's one
Stewart.
of the. I mean, in my mind, there are like.
Who could be Idris Elba, by the way? Idris
oh
Elba
Oh
would
my
make a
God,
great
Idris Elba would
John
be a
Stewart.
great
Wait, speaking
John
of more DC, with the Black Adam film,
Yes,
which
with The
also
Rock.
which makes no sense to me because Black Adam is a bad guy.
Not necessarily.
He's
kind of
not
like-
even
an
anti.
anti-hero.
No,
He's
not
an
even a little bit. He's just
Really?
a villain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just
'Cause,
he's
he's
Shazam's
just-
villain.
Who played James Bond in?
Yeah,
Too
well,
Late
that's
to
what I was
Die?
about to say. Pierce Brosnan
Pierce
is
Brosnan's
now
gonna be-
attached to the
he's
project
gonna be
as Dr. Fate. Dr.
Yes.
Fate is the DC
Yeah, you
version
guys are-
of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
There's a Doctor Strange in the DC universe too. He's a Batman he's a Batman bad guy.
Yeah, and that's why there's a couple of different
He's
like.
very. You know what he does? He coats Gotham in fog, so that his cronies can perform fucking small time robberies under the cover of the
True or
fog.
false?
That's great.
Polka Dot Man is a
Batman
real villain.
Batman
Yeah,
villain.
dude.
yeah.
There's a lot
Lego
of shitty
Batman,
villains.
dude. Lego Batman will give you the rundown of all the worst Batman villains.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
funny. It's
Dude,
really
I
funny.
hear
Lego
that movie's
Batman,
great.
Lego Batman is one of the single best Batman movies I've ever
There's
seen.
two of
good.
them, aren't there?
I
maybe.
don't know. There's two Lego movies.
And then
But
Lego
there's-
Batman.
Yeah, dude, Lego
But-
Batman is fucking hilarious.
It's good.
He's staring at this picture of him and his parents, and then Alfred comes up and he's like, "What are you looking at, sir?" And he's like, "Oh, no." And he's like, "You sure you were looking at the portrait?" He's like, "Oh, yes, the old family portrait." And then fucking the little orphan Dick Grayson is talking to him at this thing, and he's like, "I live at the orphanage. My name's Richard, but all the kids call me Dick." And he's like, "Well, children can be cruel." Dude, and he's in the middle of this crowd, and Barbara Gordon's giving this speech about how she wants to thank Batman. And she's like, "Well, and if Batman were here, I would love to thank him today." And you just hear him in the middle of the crowd. "Oh, I think he can hear you." Dude, and it's just full of those.
But it's over the top funny because it's animated and it's Lego because
It's
it
so
really goes
great.
well together. It melts because it's meant to be like child wonderment at the same time, and it can have that.
But it
weirdness.
definitely, it's child wonderment, but it definitely it gives you appreciate Voldemort's in it.
yeah.
Lego Voldemort's in it.
Awesome.
The voice acting in those Lego movies is great. Like Will Ferrell does some really awesome voice acting.
President Business.
Kevin Conroy does some awesome voice acting.
President Business. What a great character.
Now, of
Yeah,
course-
that guy was great.
Now, of course, probably.
and what is
Taco
it? And
Tuesday.
and he and the thing they find is just like a sticker
Crazy
from the
glue,
real
the
world.
Craggle. It's Craggle,
Yes.
but it's the crazy glue, with the things. Dude,
Now-
that's well done.
Now, the big thing that, of course, what happened in the Snyderverse.
It's like their most important thing.
Now, the great.
And it's even better because that's it's all about control and making the Legos the way they're supposed to be. And they use the crazy glue to glue them into place.
Oh, yeah.
So it's even it's got its philosophical roots too.
Right.
For a children's movie, you definitely have a couple existential crises.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the Lego movie
Crises?
alone is
Chrysler.
really kind of nice.
Chryslers.
It's
a
like,
couple existential Chryslers.
but no, the end of the Lego movie is actually kind of deep. About a dad trying to be with his son. But of course, what would happen eventually in the Snyder universe would be the eventual battle between Darkseid versus Superman, which, if you watch the Justice League TV show, has probably one of the greatest dialogues
Yeah, that's
in
a good,
Superman's entire history.
So good.
Because in one of the
You're
great
talking
battles,
about the late '90s, early 2000s one,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that
So-
was great.
Justice
That-
League,
So
Justice League Animate.
Yes.
And then followed up by Justice
Unlimited.
League Unlimited.
Yeah, that-
So I have this almost memorized. So in one of the fight scenes, Batman dodges his Omega beams, right? Dodges Darkseid's Omega beams, and he's just like, he tries to ask Batman why he just won't quit, and then Superman comes out of nowhere, knocks him back. He's like, that man won't quit, and as long as there's a breathing bone in his body, none of my team will. Me, I have a different problem. Bitch slaps him. Bitch slaps Darkseid. He's like, I feel like I live in a world made of paper, always having to be careful, or else I might break something or someone. But you can take it, can't you, big guy? What we have is
Yeah,
a rare
that- yeah,
opportunity
yeah,
for me
that
to
was-
cut loose and just to see just how powerful I really am. And so he hauls back, and you see kind of like in the movie where like as he's about to take off, the earth kind of like the pebbles kind of lift. He hauls back, the earth kind of like lifts, and he kind of Goku like power slams him, like goes forward, like flies 50 feet and knocks him, and you see a physical shockwave in the air, and he just goes fucking back and beats the living shit out of him. He's like, had enough. And then it cut, and then the
There's a lot of instances.
So like
that is the greatest fucking scene
Yeah.
in all of Justice League, and it's like the fucking greatest thing to see as a 13-year-old
It's
kid.
why you watch that cartoon.
It's why I wear this fucking crest, other than the memory of my mom. But it is fucking legitimate, like one of the coolest things. I literally got up from my seat eating Cheerios as a kid, going, "Holy hell!"
So one of my other like favorite Superman moments, or not even so much Superman, but the Superman multiverse is so in the comics. There's something called the Crime Syndicate, which is from Earth 2. They are the parallel version of the Justice League.
Like the Legion of Doom kind of style?
Legion of Doom are like Earth supervillains who band together.
Yeah.
The Crime Syndicate are evil doppelgangers from a parallel universe.
Yes, where they're more militaristic and rule over Earth. I remember that.
And so in that universe, instead of Kryptonite, instead of Superman, it's Ultraman.
Yeah,
Real creative.
of course.
Instead of Kryptonite being his kryptonite, it's like his fucking crack cocaine. It boosts him up. It makes him more energetic. And one thing is he takes some kryptonite, he crushes it in his hands into powder.
Yeah.
And then because he can just do everything amazing, just goes like this. And it just lifts out of his hands right into his fucking nose.
In a cartoon.
In the fucking green fucking powder. And then he pushes the moon in front of the sun. That's like how strong he is.
I mean, there is like the crazy thing that people don't understand about Superman's strength. And it was people always ask, like, well, how strong is he? And one of the writers for Superman summarized it very, very well. He's as powerful as he needs to be for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's a really good way to sort of tell
I
a story.
think it's one of the things that does the DC universe the most damage.
Okay. I mean, it's a
Is
good
that,
argument.
dude, he's the biggest Deus Ex Machina
Yeah.
that exists.
I mean, he is
Tony Stark had to kill himself.
Here,
You
look
know
at
what
this.
I mean? Where it's like Superman just has to try a little harder.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that before. Yeah. In the novel.
Crushes it up in his hands, lasers it into powder, and just takes a big
Inhales
old
it.
whiff.
I mean,
And
like,
then immediately says, "Yes, I'm the strongest again."
Yeah, we've all been there.
AJ's probably there right now.
When my drugs synergize, I am invincible,
I guess I have been
man.
there. Look at how strong I am.
Yeah, my superpower is I can leap incredibly tall fences, and the height of the fence increases based on the number of cops behind me.
It's a good mathematical formula, similar
it's
to the
amazing.
anti-life equation.
It's like, dude,
the anti-arrest equation.
I can take a 5-foot fence with no problem. One cop behind me, 6-foot fence. 2 cops behind me, 7-foot fence. Squad, I'm just laying down.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how
unit.
fast I can run and for how long when my life.
My endurance goes up
yeah.
immediately.
What happens in the equation when the canine unit's introduced?
Stop. Just stop.
No, never stop.
Never stop. Yeah, just run.
Dude, that's why
don't slow
you
down.
always carry, dude, if the Flash taught us anything, always carry a hot dog with you.
Yes.
What do you think that dog wants more? You think that dog wants something he's got
Yeah,
to
through my
chase or
extra-
something?
Through my expertise, I've known to always keep a dog treat on me.
So
It
I've
rolls
always-
out a fucking foot long.
I've always thought about, like, so if you were ever in a situation where you felt like you were going to get chased by cops, like say you were going to rob a bank,
Right.
chance you're probably going to get chased by cops. Why do they never carry like 40 fucking bricks in their car? Right? So you're running from the cops. Lob one of those bad boys out the window. I tell you, the cops are going to back off very quickly. Am I right or am I wrong?
I mean-
I'm trying to imagine this.
Imagine
Throw it
you're
up in
trying-
the air. The next car that drives by, just bam.
So the cops are chasing you behind your next
behind
car.
your vehicle.
Okay.
You go right outside one of the windows and you just throw a brick up in the air.
Or they even like ride up next to you, just throw a brick into their window.
Well, dude, literally the momentum of just throwing the brick in the air, the momentum is enough to fucking, it's going to fuck up the car.
Do you think?
Do you-
No,
Yeah.
you go.
Have you ever seen the video of where the cop is pulled this guy over, and as he goes back to like
Sorry,
go to
one
his
second.
car-
Have you started drinking your second Guinness yet?
No,
Well,
this is a monster.
let's get your second Guinness.
Okay,
Yeah, what are you
so
waiting for? Your vacation to be over?
How many days off do you have still?
Fucking 3.
Oh, great. You should play World of Warcraft with me. No. Just think about it.
it won't stop.
World of Warcraft.
It'll stop.
But,
It'll stop once you take
so
a slightly
have-
smaller amount of loot than David does. Then the game is fucking over.
So have you ever seen the video? So the cops pulled this guy over, and as he goes back to his car to like fill out paperwork and stuff, you see the guy open up his back window and a couple balloons come out.
Oh,
And there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
bag. There's a bag going up in the air with balloons.
Yeah, and the cop goes and tries to shoot it down.
Yeah, and
Do you know
gets
how
down.
many lives that a cop endangered just to get his hands on fucking $50 worth of crack? Like
Shooting bullets into the air.
Into the air.
Who knows
in
where
a
those
residential
landed?
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Neighborhood. When they come down, do you know how much fucking velocity and kinetic energy they have?
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah, that'll definitely
Well,
kill you.
there's a sad story that happened a couple years ago where a guy was out hunting near Amish country and he missed his shot at a deer, and the bullet traveled very, very far and unfortunately struck a girl who was riding a horse and killed her. And he came forward and he had to he confessed to accidentally shooting her. So it's
I mean, what do you get in a 1 in a million fucking situation like that?
25 to life?
No, I mean, come on.
There's no way he
even saw
a day in jail.
Sorry, dude.
Well,
sorry, dude. That's
that's not
murder
true.
one.
That's not
That's
true.
murder one. Nobody goes 25 to life for fucking manslaughter.
So no, it's more
You're
likely
fucking-
manslaughter. You know, plus
Yeah,
the
he probably went 3 to 5 max.
yeah. So you know,
First
it's
time
just an
offender,
unfortunate.
too?
I mean, there was a couple months ago.
25
There
to
was
life, David.
a dad and his daughter were killed out hunting, and they still haven't found the guy. They were hunting and someone shot him when they were out in the woods.
Jesus Christ.
Now the crazy thing is, like, I don't understand how it killed both of them. So it seems more like a homicide than an accidental shooting, because you had to kill 2 people while they're out in the woods. One, I get, like, oh, it was a deer or something like that, but to kill 2 people,
Right. Well, he probably it was homicide.
Yeah,
Right,
very
that was
much.
on purpose.
yeah, it had to have been, because people think it's a hunting accident. Like,
No,
No.
one person.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
one
way.
person.
But no, we need to wrap this. We need to keep going with the Snyder Cut. This is a movie review, but
I mean,
what do you guys want to see in, like, if the Snyderverse is restored? Because there's a huge online movement right now with this. So if HBO were to pick this up,
Well, I'd like to see
what would we
fucking.
want to see?
I would want to see more of Ben Affleck.
I think
Well, also,
JL1.
I'm really, really, really pumped for this Robert Pattinson.
the Batman.
Yeah. First off,
the
everyone like
detective.
who says he's a bad actor is just wrong.
Wrong.
He's a phenomenal actor.
he's a great actor.
He's
Twilight is
Twilight's
just,
just,
it's
a
just
bad,
garbage.
Look at Twilight because Kristen Stewart.
But you know
is
what?
also-
Twilight was also the best thing for him. It gave him like the popularity, and also at the same time, it almost gave him such a like negative view that his acting was able to shine so much better.
That's right. I would rather bomb in my debut than slay it.
Right, exactly.
I mean, a
Because
lot of
you
actors
went
do.
here and then went only up. You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I mean, look at The Lighthouse, his last film.
Lighthouse
That was
is a
amazing.
What's the
Fantastic
movie with
movie.
like the circus, like Water for
Water for
Elephants? He's in.
Great book. Great
Yeah.
book. Great. And he said he had an interview with Conan saying, like,
What? Why
what?
Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
You don't like Conan?
No, I don't like the way you call him Conan.
My
Conan.
bad.
Conan.
Conan.
Do it again.
Conan.
He did Conan.
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 And so he
Oh yeah, I want to.
was
It's
talking
not
about-
on the Conan show.
the first time he ever went to
Evan
this,
Jones.
the first time he ever went to the
Motherfucker.
circus, the first time he ever went to the circus in real life, a clown died. His clown car exploded, and so he was telling this like dark, horrible story on Conan O'Brien, and he's just like, Conan's like looking at him, like, what the fuck are you trying to talk about on my show?
I don't know if this
But it's a
was
great
old,
movie.
but I saw elephants going at it in a circus.
Really?
On like Instagram the other day.
Oh, on
not in
Instagram?
the U.S.
I thought this was like a childhood memory.
Oh no, yeah, I saw it yesterday in the backyard.
Scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
But no, so we have like several films already lined up. We have Black Adam lined up already. We have The Batman, which is going to sort of tell the story of basically Batman Year One.
What's going to do, yeah, which I can't wait. Because this is a young amateur Batman that has no idea what he's doing. He's gonna be
Mid-20s.
banged up the whole time.
Yeah.
Getting his ass thoroughly kicked.
And it's much more of a noir film.
Yeah.
It's really going to be interesting because you got the Penguin as a main character.
I
Probably
mean, I'm
the
pretty sure
Riddler.
his Batmobile is like a souped up like Camaro, is what we've seen.
It looks like it. And then who's that villain that they're looking to have? It's the kid that does the bandages.
Isn't it Colin Farrell? Is Hush?
He plays. Well, no, Colin Farrell is actually playing Penguin.
Yes, you're right. But
So
the one in
Hush
the
is the
bandages
main-
is Hush.
Yes, that's Hush. And
He's a
serial killer.
great Batman villain. He
Yes.
is another. So it's actually Hush is great. I'll give you the quick run over. He was Bruce's best friend growing up.
Yeah.
Also, like another like rich, how to do like Vanderbilt Tufts family.
Yeah.
The Tafts. I was just watching It's Always Sunny. That episode with the Tafts.
Wait, which
My whole
one?
family's a Taft family. What? Yeah, we built their railroads. my uncle drowned in a.
So Hush
Sorry.
was a well. Remember the do you know the video games like the Telltale video
Yeah.
games?
Oh, God.
There's
I hated
there's
those.
a Batman.
Suck.
There's a Batman one where it's the Joker, who's the Joker was
Okay.
a childhood friend of him, which is actually kind of interesting. But the Hush in the comics was originally like from the
Also
well-to-do
named
families.
I think his name was also Thomas.
Yeah.
But essentially he was like a demented little fuck, and he hates Batman because Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne, was a doctor, and he saved his parents' lives so that way he didn't like get the inheritance or like some shit. And then I think he kills them later.
That's
Can't remember
crazy.
the exact details.
I mean, there was another. Who was the other really rich guy who eventually went to gambling and like almost lost it all? He has the scars, the crosses on, or the check.
That's Victor Zaz.
Zaz. He's
Victor
the,
Zaz
Yeah, he has the
is
tally marks on his skin from the people
I
he
know
kills.
that.
Scar
I
for
know that
every
name.
a scar for every person he kills.
Yeah.
Real sadistic serial killer.
Yeah.
In Batman Arkham, like any of those games where you
Yeah.
see him, he's always like a fucked up.
Bald, has tattoo or scars all over
The
his
Gotham
body.
version of Victor Zaz was great.
Yeah.
That's where I know him from.
Yeah. Gotham was actually pretty good until like the last bit.
Well, I never watched the season finale because apparently the season finale was like a 2-year or like 10-year jump, and that little kid is Batman in the last episode.
That makes sense, I guess.
Never watched. Watched like up until the last 2 episodes.
I overall enjoyed
Never
Gotham.
finished
I
it.
overall enjoyed it. I liked the guy
Season
who played
1 was
Gordon.
great.
I
Gordon,
love Gordon,
the OC.
and who's
Call back to the OC.
Who's the guy who played
Alfred was great too.
no, who's the guy who played his partner?
Oh,
He was in the Snyder
He's in
cut
Batman Begins.
he's not in that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the guy from Batman
The
Begins.
name is in it, but he's not in it.
no, not
Not
him, but
Guillotine.
he's
too.
the,
The guy, he's the
character.
gruff guy.
Right,
He's got the
exactly.
jacket and everything.
Yeah.
He's an
He's
awesome
the guy that gets the
fucking
pray to me.
Yeah, swear to me.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Swear to me.
character. He was, but no, that was he plays a great character
I
as
love
well.
that.
At this bachelor party we were at, like the first 2 Batmans are on Netflix, so we put on the second one, and the hockey pad scene where he's busting, like the intro scene with the guys with the hockey pads
Yeah.
and Scarecrow's there, and the
Yeah.
guy, Batman zip ties the imposters too, the Batman imposters,
Right.
and he's just like, "What's the difference between you and me?"
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Dude,
So
we had
fucking
now.
funny.
got on Kevlar
Now, I-
that can resist attacks from dogs in
I-
your wing.
now I
your
wish-
wife's pot holder. That's what makes me different from you. I'm Batman.
Now
And
I
then
do
he fucking
wish.
dude, he's gone.
I do wish that you
What's
were.
your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was
I
cool.
like that. Now, I wish you had come with Goose and Evan to watch the Snyder Cut with
would've
us.
been a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun because it ended up like we watched the film very thoroughly, but it very quickly turned into Mystery Science Theater. Yeah. And it was so funny because I was basically doing like quick like Batman quips like that was my parents. It's like, oh, you're an orphan too.
Oh, you should see me and my friends like even watch Harry Potter now. It's Mystery Science Theater.
It's great,
Just
dude.
fucking calling out everything.
I can't.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
just put
fun.
it in the goddamn fire. He said calmly.
Well, in the books, that part's so funny because he's like, "Did you? No. Do you swear? Yes. That's it.
it.
He must be lying." They're just like, he must be lying. He goes, "Well, if he said it, if he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. And then it was like, well, he must be lying. And then someone else goes, are you calling Albus Dumbledore a liar?
Right.
And everyone's like, no one ever said that.
Well, that's the thing.
Until book 7.
Well, that's the thing.
Until it turns out everything he says is
Yeah,
fucking
until it
full of
turns
shit.
out
Right.
he's lying.
That book could have been 30 pages long because they could have ended like, well, you're not 18, so you can't actually compete anyway.
I did see a great meme that was like Harry Potter summarized. Harry, you fucked everything up. Whatever. 40 points for Gryffindor.
In the back. But no, I
Kobe.
really am. I really
R.I.P.
am. I do have a lot of hope for the Snyderverse to be reinstated. I think HBO Max has a
want an Aquaman
gem
too.
on their hands. It's already coming out. Amber Heard's out.
Is
So-
she actually?
Yeah, cunt's
Well,
out.
she's a huge bitch.
I mean, I saw a meme on.
Well, if Johnny Depp's out, she has to be out.
Right.
That's
Well,
like.
I saw a meme of the Snyder cut of the image of Darkseid choking out Amber Heard, and it's like, and someone comments like, "Why is everyone mad at Darkseid when he's clearly doing the Lord's work?"
Yeah, funny.
But no, everyone's glad that she's out. Thank God Johnny Depp's career is back because of that bitch. But I'm glad to see.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say playing Grindelwald is Johnny Depp's career.
Well, he's back in the good graces of people because the truth came out. But I am very glad to see.
Did you watch the second? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you like it the same way you liked the last Star Wars movie?
But I am excited to see what the hopes are for the Snyderverse. I think that HBO has a gem in their hands. They see the potential, the amount of hype this has generated, and the fact that the community on multiple forums, on multiple pages, has kept this hashtag going so strong over the last week and a half. I think that HBO is going to come around and say, hey, we're going to put up the money to really make this thing happen. Because if Warner Brothers gets the fuck out of the way, because it's all AT&T, I think. HBO, AT&T, and Warner Brothers are... I think Warner Brothers and HBO are all under AT&T.
This should just make the Animaniacs the creative director.
Right.
Yeah.
But like...
That would be great.
What was that like? Hey, Waldo.
Right. So if they do this...
Fingerprints.
If they do this, we see
Dude,
the
that was a
potential.
joke in a children's cartoon.
Yeah.
Fingerprints, and then there's Dot with Prince ready to make some purple rain, let's say. And that was in a kid's cartoon.
Yeah. But no, I see hope. And I think that's the one thing that Zack Snyder's always been about is hope. Mm-hmm. Like from Man of Steel to Batman's sort of like...
I mean, that's what the S
mentality in
stands
this
for.
one. Right.
Hope.
I mean, the fact that in like the blind, and like when he's getting on the jet and Alfred's like, why are you doing this, Master? When he's like, for the first time, I'm going purely off hope. Right?
He goes, what makes you think he'll come? He goes, faith.
Yeah, faith. For the first time ever, it's all on faith. I think this has the potential to really do something amazing. I don't think any company would see this, the amount of hype generated, and say, nah, it's done. This is a one-off thing.
Right. And well, so I totally disagree with it because I liked it. But one of the big reviews that I saw, or like New York Post said, he goes, Justice League still sucks. Now it's 4 hours.
Fuck you.
and I was laughing because I thought
is
that
funny.
was so
Come on, that's funny.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with it. But even still, like the highest rating it has right now on like Rotten Tomatoes, or like the cumulative score, I think is like 75%. And it was never really going to get that much higher.
Well, on IMDb,
because there's an original source and you're comparing it to
Right,
that.
well-
Yeah.
If this movie came out, it'd probably be like 85, 90.
well, here's the thing. On
It
Rotten
would be a good
Tomato,
movie.
on,
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomato, the critic score is about a 75 to 80. The
What's audience?
Huh?
What's audience?
97, 95.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
yeah.
See,
On IMDb, we've got a 8.5. The
That's a
highest
good rating.
now.
Oh, that is all good,
On
yeah.
IMDb, that's a high rating.
The only superhero movie that has ever scored higher than an 8.5
Logan.
is The Dark Knight.
Should have been Logan.
The Dark Knight is the only film
gotta
that has
watch it.
ever scored higher than that, and
you
it's a
haven't watched
9.0.
Logan yet?
part of it.
Dude, Logan
I cried.
is an amazing fucking movie.
I legit cried at the end of Logan.
Amazing.
I don't know what it is.
Fuck
like-
you, Logan. Dude, hearing
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart say "fuck you, Logan" over and over
Really?
again is
Yeah,
worth the
it's like
price
Charles
of
with
admission.
dementia.
Yeah, dude, Charles
Right.
Xavier, the most dangerous brain on the planet, fucking goes into like these
Dementia, yeah.
spasms in like 5-mile radiuses.
Right.
People, dude, and then when fucking Wolverine goes ballistic,
Well,
The
come on. I'm
last
going to
bit.
watch it.
The last bit.
no,
Because
no,
Don't tell me-
the scene
don't
in the
tell
ho-
me
The
everything.
scene in the when in the hotel.
In the hotel room.
Yeah, the hotel scene.
Yeah.
is good.
I do enjoy the last fight scene because
You can't ruin
right.
it for him.
It's because
I mean, it's a fucking 5-year-old movie.
I will.
but-
I will tell you this. Basically, take Hugh
Spoiler
Jackman.
alert.
Right. I'll just leave it at this. Take Hugh
Spoiler
Jackman.
alert: the Titanic sinks.
Right. So I'll tell you this: Hugh Jackman,
Lies.
who had played Wolverine for this entire amount of time, for years and years, understands that this last scene will be the last scene he ever plays as Wolverine, and he goes all out.
Until the next one.
He goes all out. And now
Until Dark Phoenix.
Well, no. Here's the thing
there
that
was a Dark Phoenix. It was horrible.
yeah.
It was really,
Now,
really bad.
Here's what I've always hoped for. There to be a random trailer at Comic-Con or something where it opens up onto a forest, right? It zooms in slowly and you see a river, and all of a sudden you see this little grave and it has the X, and then all of a sudden you hear someone coming from the background and someone's in boots and they're standing over it, and all of a sudden you hear zip, and someone's pissing on the grave, and you can clearly tell it's Deadpool. And then it fades to black, and then all of a sudden you hear shing, my dick, and it cuts to Wolverine Deadpool.
Jesus, you've put a lot of thought into this.
That's what I thought.
You had
because,
dude. You had a setting.
Yes.
You had sound effects.
Yes. Yes.
You had character
What is fun-
development.
well, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are like BFFs.
Right,
Yeah.
and Wolverine
Dialogue,
and Deadpool,
yeah.
and Wolverine and Deadpool are always going at it
Yeah.
in the comics, and I would love to send that to Ryan Reynolds just to have him fucking
Send him
tweet
that
it back.
clip, dude. I was fucking the first few minutes you had me in throw.
I thought, for a
Yes.
second, I thought you were talking about a real movie because I
No,
stopped paying attention.
I would love to see that happen. And Ryan
Exterior.
Reynolds, if you ever
Boreal
see this,
forest.
dude, I would love to see that happen.
And
And
we've
Ryan-
never-
if you like
Ryan
it,
Reynolds,
you like it.
if you happen to see this, do that. Make us famous.
Ryan Reynolds,
Just
please,
take it
I
and have
love
fun
you.
with it.
Yeah.
Piss on Wolverine's grave. That's all
Maximum
we ask.
effort, baby. Maximum effort.
Yes, but no. I
I
love.
personally loved Green Lantern. I'm gonna throw it out there. Thought it was a great movie.
He actually watched it for the first time a few weeks ago and was live
Green
tweeting while he was watching it.
Lantern is my favorite DC superhero.
Why
Maybe
is
not
that? Oh, the
Hal
hero.
Jordan.
The hero,
Yeah.
Hal Jordan.
I do like.
Well, he has a great story.
I like Stewart more,
he
but I
has
get it.
a whole,
He's just a
fall,
guy.
fall from grace where Parallax takes over his body, like the fear god, essentially.
But
Yeah.
dude, like that's the thing. Dude, everybody else in the Justice League, except for Batman, he's just another guy. Hal Jordan's
he's
just a
got
fucking
ring.
dude.
Well,
Right.
but that only goes to show how strong he is because his will is
willpower.
his power.
Yeah, exactly.
And his power, his
That's what makes
is the power of his constructs.
So
I mean,
definitely
there's
the
this great
Lantern
moment in
Corps.
the comics.
The Lantern Corps are definitely my favorite aspect of the DC universe. You guys were talking about all the.
Yeah.
I used to know the whole spectrum and what each one was. And
Yeah.
I used to watch videos about what ring Batman would use.
He gets one. He gets the
Yeah,
fear ring, I think.
No,
Justice Ring.
you would think it would be fear, and you would think it would be
No,
justice.
it's hope.
But
It's hope. It's the
hope.
blue one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, it's one you
actually,
never.
Scarecrow gets the fear ring.
Yeah.
Well,
This is in
that would
dark.
be
So this is
terrifying.
in Darkest Night, which is one of my favorite
Oh,
comic
yeah.
books.
Is that a Frank Miller one?
Don't
No, that was,
but Darkest Night is like, the Green Lantern motto in Brightest Day and Darkest Night.
Yes.
And so that's essentially what happens, Darkest Night. And this is where the black rings, the rings of the undead,
Yeah.
come to life. And
Yeah, dude, the
essentially
rings
they
are so crazy.
They are world ending. And the green ring is awesome.
Is it
Orange.
Blackest
This
Night?
is Ancient Oris. Yeah, Blackest Night. Thank you.
Yes, that was Jeff Johns.
Yes.
Good writer. Good writer.
So the orange ring, Avarice, Agent Orange, his is greed. He is a one-person Lantern Corps, and his ring creates, his constructs are his army.
Oh God,
He can create like 1,000 fucking things.
that's crazy.
And he collects it all, and he just hoards it all on his planet. Oh, that was his name, LaFreeze.
LaFreeze. Okay.
Yeah, fucking sick. One of my favorite.
Yeah, dude.
Atrocitus.
The DC universe has a lot to.
It's got
dip
a
And
lot
then
of depth.
Kyle Rayner,
Well, yeah.
the fourth Green Lantern.
Right.
The fourth human Green
You
Lantern.
are diving.
The third, the third is Guy Gardner,
Yeah.
who is a Boston punk ass ex
It's
cop.
so irritating.
Yeah, he's He's like, hey, let's go kick their ass.
Like if Mark
Dude,
Wahlberg was a Green Lantern.
Yeah, if Mark Wahlberg was a Green Lantern, that's
All right,
exactly.
I have to break down. I am
like
sick.
young like Marky Mark. If
Yeah,
Marky
exactly.
Mark was a Green Lantern.
I am sick.
His Green Lantern construct would be a baseball bat. Hey, I'm gonna take his head off.
All right, I'm starting to get sick of the stereotypical Northeasterner that's being portrayed in common and culture nowadays. It started with Joey Wheeler, the worst fucking character from Yu-Gi-Oh! Joey Wheeler.
Oh, I thought you meant
Yeah.
Joey
I know.
from Friends.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Joey Wheeler and Joey from
Hey.
Friends are the same fucking character, except
Hey,
instead
that's
of
my sister. Draw my card.
yeah. He's like, good luck beating this one, Yugi. Oh, how'd you get that? And then like it even gets
Yugi,
worse.
thanks so much for my time magician.
I'm playing Hades now, and there's this thing that you practice your weapons on. His name's Skelly, and he's like a Northeaster. He's like, hey, Boyle, come on over here and take a whack at my face.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so offensive.
I mean,
we should
it's
be offended
hilarious.
about that.
I'm
right?
offended.
But it's
I mean, we
Is
don't
that
have time.
why?
We don't have time to be offended. But if we
My buddy Dave, whose wedding I'm going to this weekend, New Jersey Jew, goes, I fucking hate Donkey. And I go, what?
what?
And I go, what? Like I was going, he gives me hope.
Yeah, he gives me hope.
Gives me hope
He gives
that
me
I can
hope
make
that
it.
a fucking shitty, grumpy Northeasterner.
He goes,
can-
he's just such like a dickhead.
So,
We'll
it's
just
real
fix
quickly.
it. We did
Yeah.
fuck it up.
Yeah.
we.
The
Hey
literal
guys,
way.
thank you so much for tuning in to our review of the Snyder Cut. We really appreciated it. We loved the movie, and we really hope that this
Snyder
universe
Cut.
can continue. We
Ray
really want it
Fisher,
to happen.
Jason Momoa.
Use the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse.
Affleck.
Keep it going. Once again, it's
My
Dave,
girl,
Evan,
Gal.
and JJ from the Mooks podcast. Thank you guys for checking it out. We really appreciate it. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you want to see more content, we put out videos nearly every week. We really hope that you guys enjoy it, and you guys can continue the hope for the Snyderverse as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Thank
So
you guys.
When it comes to our videos, you gotta catch them all.
Exactly. Teaser for the next episode. You know, this episode went as long as the Snyder Cut. This episode went fucking 3 hours, and we had to cut it
2.5
down.
hours of the Mooks podcast, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the
We went
bedroom.
the whole episode, didn't even bring up Greenland
Didn't bring
Yeah.
up
Martian
Greenland
Manhunter.
once.
Martian Manhunter. Until next week. Goodbye.
10% in slow motion.
You're all gonna be mad at me. God damn it, Chad.